Your destination is on the left.
God, Dave, myself. We want to get back out there. Meet as many of you as we can possibly meet. And get the interviews from those of you mainstream media has been ignoring. We're not going to ignore you.
Hello all, hopefully the sound is working this time, and welcome to episode 15 of Love America Tour. We've got a couple of things on the books here. I will apologize right here at the top. I am still heavily medicated, so anything could happen. Just kind of, we just kind of go with the flow. Already in the chat, Jen Lyle, Elihu Hu, Rachel Cooper, Samantha Mangwal, Rose Kirby from the UK, hello. And yeah, Rachel Cooper actually is the one who's been hosting the Zoom after parties after the live stream. Everybody just that has time and wants to is allowed to, is able to get into a Zoom chat. Getting right into news and announcements, kind of to keep on from last episode. Dad and I are both improving. He's been through physical therapy. He's playing like he's a track star down there. And, my issue is improving as well. The problem that I'm having is the medications that are making me better are also clouding my brain, which can be fun. It's just, it is what it is. So the cookbook, once again, we have less than a week to get the cookbook in. This is the 26th. There are 30 days in September, so definitely get your recipes in to this email address, plainsimple.ryan@gmail.com. It can be anything. I know I have got to get off my butt and get them crockpot breakfast burritos in. I know I've submitted my steak recipe and the green beans with bacon. I know that there's been some other people submit some real cool recipes. And again, guys, if you've got a recipe that's like just whatever it is that's your favorite, it could be a childhood favorite or a comfort food from your current life, just share it with us. We want to try it too. What else have we got on the dockets? International guests. On Wednesdays, we are starting to get sometimes celebrities, sometimes volunteers. We want to add international guests to the list, and people that maybe haven't had the opportunity to be interviewed for the first time. We'll just have you on the show, and we can do it in such that in such a way that it doesn't interfere with the project that Corin has got ongoing with parts 2 and 3 and whatnot. So let's see, what have we got? Rose Kirby, are you on your own trip? No, I went on my trip last week and it was awesome. I went to the woods for the first part of the week, got to go hunting with a buddy of mine. And then the last part of the week, I got to hang out with Panda and Cass and just do some family stuff. And it was a really good time. I enjoyed it immensely. Big news. Big news. Yep. Okay. Let me type in this response here to Chad. Chad can't make it. He's held up kind of on another project. So we'll look to see him Wednesday, but the other two will be in or are scheduled to be in, and that takes care of that. Discord server. We are currently testing the Discord server with 4 people who are members of the Lap Fam, and basically what we're doing right now is trying to break it. We're trying to get rid of stuff that doesn't need to be there, add stuff that maybe does need to be there. And yeah, Rose Kirby with the meds. Am I tripping? It's let's just say my life is interesting right now, and I'm doing the absolute best I can to hold it together. But Discord, it's not ready to be released yet, but I wanted to let you know we are testing it. This is a place where we can go. There will be text chats, voice chats, video chats, some games that can be played back and forth. And we are like I said, we're getting it tested. With any luck at all, we should be ready to open this up completely by the next episode, or even maybe before. But that's going to happen on the 30th. We hope by the 30th to have that Discord server up and running. Lacie, absolutely. The people that are heading this up right now are our first two ambassadors, and that's Samantha Sheldon and Bonnie Bell on Twitter. So get with one of them, and they'll get you an invite. I think some things have changed since we tested it a little bit earlier today and kind of played around in it. But it's fun, and that's Samantha Mangual might need help with it. Yeah, that's why we're doing it the way we're doing it. We're getting a couple of people in, getting them to where they know kind of what's around and can help more folks as we open it up. But that's coming. That is absolutely in the works and being tested right now. And again, we hope to have that unleashed 100% by the middle of next week. And what this is going to do, this will integrate actually with the Twitter, with the Facebook, with the live stream. That stuff isn't quite done up yet, but it's in the works. Like I said, we're gonna actually get that working and released. And so it's basically going to be a place that the Lat fam can hang out and shift gifts back and forth. There'll be a couple of rooms where you can get aside if you're having a rough day and get with one of the ambassadors or even some of the producers. If they're about, they'll be able to jump in as well and interact with them. So it's actually going to be a pretty cool addition, I think, to the toys that we have for Lat Fam, and we'll go with there. So in the attempt to stay with keep everything on point, because like Rose was saying, yeah, these meds have got me seeing some interesting things. So we're going to go into the positivity segment, and I'll answer more questions about Discord later. I honestly can't answer a lot of them. I'm not very familiar with it, and I'm still learning how to do it. So we talked last episode about getting into a 5-year plan and understanding about how to build a realistic 5-year plan with a better than average chance for success. And the reason that I want to kind of go over chess a little bit, it's not going to sound. Trust me, it'll all come together. So you win at chess. I don't know how many of you are familiar with actually playing the game, but the way that you win consistently at chess is by keeping a higher number of moves, being a higher number of moves ahead of the game than your opponent. And by that, I mean, like by 3 moves ahead. That means that for every piece that you have and for every move that you make, you've got all of the potential moves and likely moves that your opponent would make to that, your follow-up, their follow-up, your follow-up, and 3 moves ahead, and all of the possible combinations. And this is why chess can become a very interesting game very quickly, and a very psychological game very quickly. It's why they have generals and stuff play it. There's a couple of skills that you acquire through playing chess, and one of them being able to be so many moves ahead of the game. Now, your 5-year plan gonna have the same kind of thing to it, in that first of all, you want to start out there at 5 years. Where do you want to be in 5 years? In 5 years, what is it that you want to have that you don't have now? What do you want to change about your situation? And you've got to get specific. So let's say that I wanted, what do I want in 5 years? $10,000 in the savings account, right? So I know that in order to be at $10,000 in 5 years, technically in 2.5 years, I would want to be at 25,000. Well, in order to be at 25 or at 5,000 rather, to get to 10, so in a year I'd need to have about $3,000. And in order to have $3,000 in a year, where would I need to be 6 months from now, 3 months from now, next month, next week? And you just sort of keep on dropping into closer and closer. And once you get a plan for where you need to be next week to be where you want to be in 5 years, you can start playing chess with those. And as we got into in previous episodes, you can start asking questions that put you in your circle of influence rather than your circle of concern. Like, I see that a year down the road, I'm going to be faced with this challenge. So how can I open that door? What can I do in the decisions I'm making in the weeks and months leading up to the 1 year thing to open that door that I can see from here is going to be an obstacle. Asking yourself questions like, how can I influence this situation that I'm going to be up against in 3 months to make it more likely that I will succeed in that situation? And if you are planning this out in such a way that you start 5 years out and you come back, you can start playing with so many months ahead instead of moves ahead. All of the potential. Just lost everything in my head. That's these meds, man. I'm telling you. So you get to where all of the possible decisions that you could make in the next month or two have outcomes. And you learn this basically by observing life. If you watch, you can go up to from past observations that you can go up to the top of a building, drop an egg off, and that egg is going to fall to the sidewalk and break. You know this because you've been around a while and you've observed life. Well, the more that you observe, the more that you're able to determine what the likely outcomes are of the decision that you're going to make next week or 2 weeks from now. It's possible, and the reason that you want to do this and go back and forth on your timeline and tweak is because it's possible that because of a situation that you can see 3 months in advance, the decision that you make next week might not look to somebody that's thinking only about here and now and reacting to the stimuli that you have in your current situation. You might make a decision that doesn't seem like the best in order to open up that door 3 months from now. So I don't really want to get too terrible in on that because I imagine that I'm going to make it more confusing, especially in my medicated state. But if you get your 5 year plan together and you are able to go back and forth, you are actually able to facilitate changing some of the situations you might find yourself in a month even down the road, and definitely 3 months or a year down the road. You will be able to influence the situations that you come into. And this is another way of increasing how much stuff, the size of your circle of influence, how much stuff you actually do have control over, is by getting a long-term plan together and playing chess with life a little bit and being able to make decisions not only based on where you want to get, but to make the situation that you're going to face, that you see being a good possibility that you're going to face 3 months down the road, a more likely where you get your outcome that you're looking for. That being said, I gotta tell on myself a little bit. Michelle has been doing everything that she's supposed to be doing, Michelle Arwood, as far as scheduling, and usually she does the intros. I asked her if I could do the intro because I had something that I specifically wanted to do, and I sat here and rewatched both interviews over and over again and didn't get the intro done. So while I am bringing on Lacie and LeAnna, Instead of doing that intro, I'm going to play the one that Mose sent. So while I'm working on getting them on, you're going to be treated to the sounds of Mose, Jackson, and the Split Image doing a jam session, and we will be right back with our guests. Just give me 1 second. Hello. I am afraid that right now we are unable to hear you.
Yeah, no, we can't hear him.
I can see that you guys are attempting to... Oh, I know what it is. Give me just 1 second here. I think.
Okay.
Hi, Sam.
Oh.
Oh, they hear us.
I'm not
That's
sure
good.
why we do not have
Yes,
sound. Give me 1 second
can't hear
to
any-
get this figured out.
we can't hear Husky.
Can the chat hear him?
Yeah. Me, Sam, yes. Bonnie, Samantha, Julie, Jen, Petunia.
Okay.
I noticed that too, the Wonder Woman sticker.
Wait.
On the Mose video, he had a Wonder
Oh.
Woman sticker
I
on
know
his
what the
keyboard.
deal is.
We hear all of you.
Mhm.
That's good. We still can't hear Husky.
There. I think I forgot to start that.
Hey, there you are. Got it.
Let there be power. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. My apologies. I forgot to start there's a program down there that's basically a virtual sound mixer board thing. Echo on Husky, they say.
We don't hear an echo on our side, but
No, but they'll echo there, and I think I've taken care of it. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. Okay, I'm gonna assume that everything is fine now. Yep, it definitely is. It definitely is. So, welcome back to Love America Tour, and I guess we can just jump right into what's changed for you guys since Corin came through all those months ago.
No, you go first.
okay, fine.
You've had more changes, so you go
All
first.
right, fine. So I think the biggest thing was that I had kind of gotten a little bit burned out before meeting with Corin, and then I saw like what he was doing. I saw how easy it was when you really keep the drive that you have for accomplishing a dream or a vision. And I was like, man, if they can do it, I can do it. If they can rent an RV and go across the entire United States of America, then like I can definitely do the thing I'm trying to do, and I don't even have to leave home to do it right now. So it was really kind of like a kick in my motivation's tail there, which is really cool. But since then, I've been working when I can on getting my book finished so I can get that going. I did some research into what it takes to start a nonprofit, and it takes a lot more than I thought. So I'm trying to get a team together right now, get some people to partner with me on that vision that I have so I can do all the stuff I'm supposed to do and find some people with a little more experience to help. Also, I've just been working on balancing like the schedule, because that's a big thing for me, is just finding the balance between work and dream chasing and surviving and all this other stuff. But we're doing pretty good so far. We're doing great.
That's terrific. And LeAnna, for you, anything new and interesting happen in your life lately?
Well, I did finally start at the state school for the deaf, and so I'm very excited to be completely immersed in deaf education. There's some different challenges that I wasn't expecting that I'm trying to navigate, and I'm not new to teaching. This is my 4th year of actually teaching, but it's a completely new environment. So it's almost like being a first-year teacher again. And then, we still have the challenges of virtual teaching. Right now, we have some students at campus, some are attending from home, and I have to Zoom simultaneously while teaching the ones in the classroom. So it's challenging, but I'm up for it. It just makes me stretch even more, and I always end up being better for it after. So
Yeah, I think both of us are definitely trying to find the balance between what we want to do and what we have to do. And it's like, ugh. But it's okay. We're getting it.
Well, and that's kind of the way that life works. You throw blood, sweat, and tears at your dream until you get your dream, or until you
that's
give
true.
up on it and move on to a different dream. I mean, that can happen too.
True.
or you realize that really wasn't your dream in the first place. I've had
Well,
that happen.
No,
Yeah.
that's happened to me too. Yeah. When I was a kid,
That's
I
kind of
wanted
what I
to be
mean.
a famous singer, and then I'm like, actually, I don't know if I want that. Like, yeah, I like singing, but I don't know if I want that.
I kind of wanted to be a singer
Yes,
when
we're
I
both
grew up.
writers.
The issue was not being able to sing on a professional level. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a starship captain, and
Hey!
the part of me that's still a kid still wants to be a starship captain. So there's that. I understand that both of you now are working on books. Which one of you wants to start off on the book projects that you've got going?
I went first last time.
Okay, I'll go first this time. We're totally not mother and daughter, by the way.
Definitely not related. Not at all.
Actually, I was supposed to have my book done about 5 years ago, and I just allowed life to get in the way and ran from it. And when I was still in Florida, probably about 4 months before I moved back to Louisiana, God made it impossible for me to ignore it anymore. And so I did start writing it. And then when I got back here to Louisiana, I stopped for a little bit, but I finally have the first half written. And for those of you that have seen my interview, you know that I had a very tough childhood. I dealt with a lot of rejection, particularly from my earthly father. And that's really the nature of my book is I just felt like God wanted me to write my story and to write how even if your earthly father rejected you in whatever form that is, in my case, it was he literally was not in my life. But I've known women and men who grew up with their father in the home, but he still wasn't there. So there's different ways that you can be rejected by your earthly father. And that skews your perception when you come to Christ. It really can skew your perception of that heavenly father persona that's part of his character. And that was certainly true in my case. So in the first half of my book, it's called Daddy's Little Girl, and I can't remember right now what the subtitle is, but it's basically about going from the earthly father into healing, knowing your heavenly father. And so the first half of the book has a lot of my personal testimony in it, and then I weave in like some spiritual principles in and out of my personal testimony. And the second half of the book, which I've got to stop putting off writing, is going to be dedicated to really diving into exploring that part of his character as the father, which is going to be very much guided by the Holy Spirit, because I need to have like the right scriptures and everything. But it's just something he laid on my heart a while ago to do, to share. It will be mostly geared toward women, obviously, with it being Daddy's little girl, but he's already shown me that there's going to be men that he's going to be able to heal men through this book too. And I don't know if it'll lead to me speaking, at a conference or whatever, but there has been some things there too. There's been little nuggets he's given me. There's been some people that have said things to me. There's been visions I've had. So I think that this is just the beginning of it, and he's got way bigger plans than I realized for what's going to come from this book.
Well,
your turn. Or as I say it in school, your turn.
I can tell you that you're absolutely correct, and that there are several men who will benefit from that as well.
See what Bonnie said?
That is so true, Bonnie. And I love what you said, Husky. It really will guide men as fathers, I hope, because as I love to say, any man can be a father. That's biological. Mm-hmm. But it takes a real man to be a dad. And there is a difference. There's a difference between being a father and being a dad. And the truly blessed men are the ones that are both.
I have, I am completely freaked out at the thought of writing a book. But just the thought of taking on another project. But I have thought about one, because one of the things that's been on my heart is that it is possible to be both masculine without being toxic. And it's something that fathers have not been.
I'm sorry.
She can be very energetic. I'm sorry.
I need that on a clip. There's so many people I could send that to.
Well, I thought about doing a podcast on it, and I thought about writing a book on it, and I have to get my thoughts to line up in order to do it. But that's been something on my mind. Do you want to handle the whole Bonnie Bill thing that you saw her see, or that she saw you see?
Yeah, no, Bonnie.
She what?
Bonnie put in the chat while you were talking that she's ran a nonprofit for 5 years, so I could reach out to her to get some advice and help.
There you go.
I did see that, and I will definitely be doing that. If you want to reach out to me on Twitter too, that would probably be the fastest way. Because I don't really use my YouTube like ever. I need to, but
yeah,
I didn't mean to yell in your ears, Husky. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. For some reason, you said you're 23 now, right?
Yes, I turned 23 in the beginning of September.
Well, happy birthday. And a lot of guys your age are under the mistaken impression that how you impress a girl is basically by being as toxic as possible. And what I would love to tell my past self at 23 and anybody that's in the young 20s, no, you want to impress a girl, be the guy that can change a tire without talking about it and can get the oil changed, but can also change diapers and cook and wash dishes.
Yes.
That will impress a woman. if you can do all of this stuff.
And the big thing about not being toxic is I do think that men should be masculine to a point, but when I think of toxic masculinity, I'm thinking of the kind that's like, oh, men aren't allowed to be soft-hearted, men aren't allowed to cry, men aren't allowed to care as deeply about things as women do, and none of those have anything to do with strength. All of those have to do with how humble you are and where your pride is at. So it's not even like for my boyfriend, like he is absolutely amazing and he is wise and he is not quite as emotional as I am, because I am very emotional, but he still takes the time to understand and listen to my emotions and acknowledge them. And sometimes men won't do that because they think their job is to not understand, because women are the emotional ones. Not necessarily. You can still be just as masculine and just as strong, but still allow yourself to feel and listen to other people who feel, and let your empathy grow a little bit.
And I think true to especially in today's age, what I see is that there's a real misunderstanding, I think, out there that masculinity in a man also means domination. And that's just not true. It's just really not true. You don't have to dominate over someone for them to love you. As a matter of fact, that's not love, that's submission by fear. And that's never healthy. And so I think we need more men like you, Husky, and like Corin, and like like Chad and Dean, and different men like that. We need more men that understand that and that have those good core values to be more of that example out there, to start shifting that, especially for the younger ones that are coming up.
I will tell you that, and you can ask Panda. I'm quite sure she'll back me up on this. Is as a man, I have a tendency. She says something that's bothering her, and my first tendency is, how can I fix it? And she's talked to me about this. Is that sometimes it doesn't need to be fixed. Sometimes she just wants somebody to listen. And I'm working on that. That's something that I struggle with, like, a lot. But I think communication is key, and often and I'll be honest with you guys, it's us, the fathers. You got to stick around, and you got to teach these young men how to be men, and you can only do it by leading by example. And so there's that. Yeah, Kirsten Morgan. That's Panda.
I'm sorry.
So.
Lacie will be no. Kennel.
Buster.
I thought we had the kennel door locked. Apparently, I didn't, and somebody made a Houdini escape. I'm so sorry.
Hey, I like dogs. So.
Yes, but he's very large, and he'll try to get on our lap and.
We have one like
and
that.
not behave.
Yeah, Kirsten Morgan down there, the one that says, "Yep, love you for that." That's Panda. So she can.
Oh. Hi, Panda.
She can definitely relate to having to deal with me.
Sorry about that.
Lacie, why don't you tell us a little bit about your book?
Okay, so my book is based around what I want my nonprofit to be. So basically, it's how to combine modern day psychology with the church and with Christian ideals, with scripture, because there's a huge deficit and a gap between what the world's practical steps are to handle mental health and how the church looks at it. I can't even tell you how many times I've had Christians tell me that needing therapy is not trusting God, or things like, oh, you just need to pray more or read your Bible more. And I, as a Christian, definitely believe that prayer and reading your Bible is extremely important. However, you need to always combine practical with spiritual. So yes, we need prayer and we need the Bible and we need Jesus. Everyone does. Everyone knows that. But there's no shame in needing a therapist. There's no shame in needing practicality. Even Jesus himself said, like, hey, you have to have both. Like, yes, go and pray, but still go out and do the work. So growing up as a Christian in the church, it was really hard for me dealing with the mental health issues that I had, because there was no one I could ask about it. And people would give me scriptures if I came in and tried to admit, like, hey, I'm really struggling right now. And I would get all these scriptures, but no one could tell me how to apply them, why they were giving them to me, why did they work, what did it really mean? And if I asked, and it was just like, oh, just pray and you'll feel better. Well, that didn't exactly work for me, because it was a medical thing that was practically affecting my head. It wasn't spiritual. And for some people, yes, it can be a spiritual thing. I'm sorry, the dog's making a lot of noise now. So for some people, it can be a spiritual thing. It absolutely can. But for some people, it's not. And I feel like the church so often wants to leave it in the spiritual world that they don't think about the fact, like, hey, you need to know what grounding techniques are. You need to know if someone's coming into your church and they have depression, like clinical medical depression, you need to know how to deal with that. You need to know how to address that in a way that's Bible and. Because I believe that Jesus is enough, and I believe that scripture is what we need as a guidebook for life. But you can't just be spiritual all the time. You'll have a deficit. And I have looked for a book like this. I have looked for people who are talking about this, and no one is. And ever since I was a kid, I was like, if no one else is going to talk about something that is a problem, I want to talk about it because someone has to. Because if I notice it, I know other people are going to notice it too. So it's definitely something that's very dear to my heart, especially with growing up, serving in church as well as being in church, because now I'm at a place in my life where I'm in youth. I work with kids, I work with, teenagers and all this stuff. And so many of them have come to me like, hey, I'm dealing with suicidal thought, or I'm dealing with depression, or I'm dealing with this and this. And I had one person tell me one time that, because I'm in therapy right now because I need it. I still have a lot of things I'm trying to work through while I'm doing all this. But I had someone tell me once that if I wasn't trusting God to heal me automatically, then I wasn't trusting in God at all. And that's not true. I do believe that God can automatically heal me. He can do anything. He's God. And I've heard of people who God has immediately healed in a moment of depression, of anxiety, of whatever, but he hasn't chosen to do that to me. And I still have to deal with depression and anxiety in day-to-day life. But I see that as an advantage now. I didn't always, but I do now, because now if someone comes up to me as a Christian and says, hey, I'm dealing with depression or anxiety, I have a unique way of talking to them, because I can look at them and say, hey, this is what it sounds like, this is what it is, and this is what it feels like. Here's how it affects you, but here's how you deal with it. And if I had been healed immediately in a moment, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I just see it as like my own unique way that God has given me to reach the world around me. And so basically what I've done is I've taken all of my years, like I'm really that old. Oh my God. I've taken these years of experience that I've had dealing with this on my own, trying to figure it out, research that I've done. And that's the reason why the book is taking as long as it is because I'm having to do all of the research to back it up with actual psychology. I don't want to just, talk out of whatever. So it's taking different ways that God and other things have taught me to deal with it. And it's like, hey, if you need therapy, please don't take my book as if I'm a therapist. I am not. That's the first page. It's like, hey, I am not a professional. Please go get help. However, like, I hope this can help you in your daily life, particularly if you're a Christian going through this, but hopefully it just helps anybody else too. Because the Bible scriptures and science go together more than people realize. Mm-hmm. So, example of one of the ones in the book, one of the chapters is about how why bad things happen to good people. So I took that big question that every Christian gets at some point and I answered it using scripture, but also using common sense. And so that is the first thing that you read about. It's like, okay, before we even get into how you're coping with this, we have to deal with why it happened. And the Bible actually answers that question in at least 4 different ways. And it's crazy. I'm not going to get into it because I don't have time, but it's crazy to look at. So another chapter real quick is how you react outwardly. So for me, I am what I refer to as a tornado. This is not a psychological term. This is just what I made up. I'm a tornado. So what I do is when I'm in a stressful situation, I pull everything into myself. It all comes inside, and I think I'm not doing a lot of damage, but if I look behind me at my relationships, at the situations I'm in, at my job, whatever, I see the effects my stress has on the world around me. But then you have people like my brother, for example, who is a volcano. That means that when he's in a stressful situation, everything comes out. It's going out onto the world around you, and you think that that's dealing with it when really you're doing just as much damage, and it's really not a healthy way to cope with it. So then in the rest of the chapter, I go in, how does this fit in with scripture? How do Christians react? How are they supposed to react? And what can you do practically to help yourself get into the right pattern? Because the practical part is the biggest thing about it. It's like, hey, here's why it makes sense spiritually. So you know that I'm not telling you to do something crazy, but here's how you apply it. I'm not just going to give you the tools. I'm going to tell you what to do with them. And so it coincides with the project, with the nonprofit I want to do, because it's going to be person-to-person access for that. It's like, hey, if you need therapy, let's help you get therapy, because I believe that everyone should have access no matter what their financial situation is. If you need a church group to go and help support you, it's not going to be the same as a Bible study. It'll really be like a person-on-person, one-on-one, let me pray with you, but also walk it out with you. Like Teen Challenge, the Cliffside Project.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like Teen Challenge, but for mental health instead of for addiction. So I'm really excited about it. I just, like I said, I
can tell.
I gotta get a team together. I gotta get some funds together, and I'm really excited. I also have a publisher pal of mine that calls me every few months to see how the book is going, just to make sure I'm still working on it. So I've got accountability on that end too, and I'm so ready to be done. But like, I'm really hoping that getting this done and getting the nonprofit started, not only will I be able to help educate the church and other people about how important mental health really is, particularly for Christians, because of the deficit that I myself have experienced, but also eventually I want to be able to speak on stages about this stuff. I want to be able to educate even non-Christians about mental health from a Christian standpoint, where it's like, hey, you don't have to be a Christian to understand the tools that can still help. You know, it's a big vision that I need to plan out. It's just getting the steps.
I have an interesting thought that you may not have thought of, and if you've watched my interview, you'll know that I have sometimes a difficult time identifying with Panda because she has anxiety and I don't. I don't know how to deal with somebody that's in a depressed mood or whatever, because I don't suffer from that. So it's something to think about, is that your book would also help people like me who have people that suffer from this in their lives but have no firsthand experience with it.
Yeah, and my boyfriend is a lot like you, actually. Like, we've had conversations. Sorry.
I've got to get Corin and Bobby in here because we're going over just a little bit. So I'm going to pull them in there. You go ahead and say what you were going to say, and we'll get them in.
We need to talk about the podcast too. So.
Oh, that's right. Shoot.
You got so wrapped up, passionate. Like your mama.
I'm sorry. So my boyfriend and I have had conversations about that too, because he does not have mental health issues and I do. And just the other day we were talking about how he didn't realize how deep it goes sometimes, and I just had to sit there and explain it to him for a second. But like I said, my boyfriend's amazing, and he really always tries his best to understand and connect to what I'm telling him, even if he hasn't experienced it himself. So that's nice.
Good. Hey, Bobby, how you doing?
I'm good. Hey, what's going on? How you feel?
Oh, I'm feeling terrific.
Who is that?
You're looking better than you did before.
No. Who's Corin's picture? You see that picture?
That's because Corin's video is not on yet.
That is my grandfather.
Hey, okay.
You favor him.
You do favor him.
Good looking man.
That's my grandfather on my dad's side.
Well, it's good to hear from you, bro.
Yeah, is my video not up?
No, it's a picture of your grandfather.
Oh, I clicked join with video. I clicked the join with video. Let me see what I can do here. I don't know how this. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Start my video. Let's see. Hey,
the man of the hour. What's up?
Oh gosh, can't call it. Can't call it. How are y'all doing? That's the question.
Doing pretty good. Just
good.
A lot of babbling.
A lot of babbling.
Well, we got a little carried away. She got really carried away, and we didn't get to the last thing that Husky wanted to talk about, which was our podcast that we're hoping to get started.
Well, let's get to that. What's going on with it? Tell me about it.
Well, it's still not up and running, but since we did our interview with you, well, first of all, for those that didn't watch the interview, this was really something that got laid on my heart. And then when I shared it with her, she was like, "Oh my God, Mom, I want to do it with you." And so the podcast is going to be from a Christian perspective, but it's called The Forbidden Truth, Breaking the Silence. And it's going to be addressing what I call taboo issues, which are issues that are extremely important that either don't get talked about at all because nobody has the oops up to actually talk about it, or they want to shy away from it, or it barely gets talked about, or it gets like just misinformation. And these are topics like the one she was sharing that her book is about. And then, like human trafficking and genocide, like all of these like really human social topics that they just don't want to talk about, but they need to be talked about, and they need to be talked about in the right way and not with, anybody's agenda, and just the straight truth. And that's why I called it The Forbidden Truth, because it's like a taboo, like, oh, we don't talk about that. No, you can't have that. No. And so what's happened since then is I've been able to do a little bit more research. I found I don't know, it was some kind of website or something where I get daily emails that give you tips and everything else. And I've run into a few people that have done podcasts. And I was telling Husky yesterday, there's actually a lady at my new church that I just saw yesterday on Facebook that she just started her own podcast. So we don't have a lot of resources to be able to do something big right away. So it's going to be interesting to get to talk with her and say, okay, well, how did you do it? We want to at least just get it up on the ground to where it's a recording, but eventually we'd like to have it to where while we're doing the recording, we're doing the YouTube channel, like, people like Steven Crowder do, and Graham Allen, and,
or it's streamed on multiple platforms simultaneously.
Right. Exactly. So,
and then we can save it. So if people miss an episode, they can go back and watch it or listen to it later.
Right.
Absolutely.
So it'll be roughly about like a 45-minute is what I'm looking at, because we want to not only talk about like what we want to talk about, but whatever the subject is, we're hoping to get guests, not just ordinary people. I want ordinary people too, but we're really hoping that we'll be able to get like some names, like maybe you. I'd love to have you on.
Of course I would do. Yeah, of course.
Because I know you've got a lot of subjects, but like when I talk about genocide or human trafficking, I'd love to be able to get Dean Cain as a guest, especially about genocide. Just different things like that. People that have more of a platform that would draw in the audience, but I want the everyday people as well, because there's so many unsung heroes in these issues. So that's what our podcast is going to be, and really wanted it by the end of the year, but I don't think that's going to happen. But definitely by the first of the year, I want to be hopefully close to getting it up and running.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably also some really interesting books out there on those different subjects by, that aren't being publicized, that aren't being, mainstreamed because of the taboo nature of the subject, or maybe because of the way that the expose that they do on the subject might not be, might not reflect well on certain people, so they, ignore it, or
well,
whatever.
That brings up a good point, because the other thing that we want to do is we want to have a blog connected to it as well, or a website, so that if we do have any resources like you were just talking about that we mentioned during the podcast, what our blog is going to do, or if it's a full newsletter website, we don't know yet the format of it, but what it's going to do is it's not only going to have a recap of what the episode was, but it's going to have links to any of the resources that are mentioned during the episode. And then we were going to have like a fun little segment that somebody suggested, because we're in Louisiana. We were going to have this fun little segment toward the end called what was it, Taboo in the Bayou, and it's going to be specifically like taboo subjects here in Louisiana. I can't read it now, it got small. You need to read it for me. Anyway, so that's the other project, and that's one that we want to do together.
Yeah, and the biggest thing goes back to what I was telling Husky earlier about like why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm writing the book I'm writing, is because if no one else is going to talk about this stuff, then I will. Like, I'll take the fall for it. I have no political connections to anything. I have no need of money in anything. Like, these are things that have to be addressed if something's going to change, but it can't be addressed if we're not talking about it.
Absolutely. I love that.
What is that?
Yes, and you should be the one to do it. Are there some comments down there? I can't see any of those.
Yeah,
on
no,
Oh, Sam Sheldon is saying something, but when everybody got on, our chat box got really small. So
it
I'm like
says
trying to read it.
it says Samantha has a friend who is the CEO of a I guess foundation or something called Stand Up Placer. They have functions of fundraisers to help stand up against human trafficking and domestic
Awesome.
violence. They have housing for victims of abuse and support.
Wow.
See, domestic violence is one of the ones that's near and dear to my heart because I am a survivor
Yeah.
of domestic violence. So that's very near to my heart.
Hey, if any of you guys in the comment section right there have some ideas like that or some things that you'd like for us to that we can partner with, that we can help support you guys, we'll have a big circle of support going. Reach out to us on Twitter. Me and my mom, we're almost always online somewhere. So you can definitely reach out to us. Tell us your ideas and let us know how we can help.
I love circle of support. That's a good.
Yes.
That's really, really kitschy. We need to create a circle of support. I love it.
Real
And
quick,
I haven't forgotten about the karaoke for those of you that were on that last time with Bobby. I still want to do the karaoke Zoom. We need to definitely make it happen.
Oh,
I
yeah.
am. I'm gonna real quick, since I've got the link typed up and ready to go in the chat. Real quick, Lacie, if you wanted to discuss, I don't know much about the TikTok thing.
Okay. Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know about TikTok, it's basically a short video app. So videos can be up to a minute long. And it's really just like a hobby that I do to keep myself creative. They just put the link to my TikTok in the comment section there. If you guys want to go check it out, you can. It actually doesn't have a lot to do with what my dream goal is, but it's really just something to help me de-stress. It's a way that I cope with mental health. It's a little bit hectic sometimes, but what I do is I do a thing called cosplay, which is where I can create my own characters. I can create my own storylines. It's really fun. It helps me stay writing. It helps me stay creating so that I can keep my spirits up. But sometimes I also do mental health videos on there just to stay open about the things that I'm dealing with and how I'm coping, to help other people stay encouraged and be like, hey, you're not alone. It's okay.
And how many followers did you just make on TikTok?
I just passed 11K.
11,000. 11,000.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Isn't that
So
awesome?
it's really fun. I get to do a lot of stuff with a lot of different people. I get to partner with a lot of things. And like I said, it is just a hobby, but it's something cool. If you guys want to stay up to date with me and all the little things I'm doing, that's something fun that you guys can come hang out with me. I'd love for you guys to follow me so we can talk on there as well. And if anyone else has TikTok and wants to do some videos, let me know.
Bonnie Bell says that her girls use TikTok.
Oh, cool.
They love the music and the dances.
I see Jen commented something, but I can't read what it is. So tweet me. Tweet at me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she's giving you her TikTok.
Yeah, I
name.
know. I can't read it though, so just send it to me on Twitter. Anyway, so yeah, that was the only other thing that I've been doing lately.
Bonnie, Lacie does not only original characters, but we're Disney fanatics. She comes by it naturally. Mama is from Orlando.
So
she does a lot of Disney cosplay. Your girls are probably gonna love it.
That's the other thing that I'm trying to work on right now, actually. So I started a thing called a Ko-fi, which you'll see in the link of my TikTok. There's a little link tree link where you can find my Instagram, my Twitter, my Ko-fi, and my Amazon wish list. So I just launched a project where I want to cosplay the Disney villains, starting with Tamatoa from LeAnna and Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog. But what I do is I take these characters, and instead of buying the costumes like normal people would from like a costume store, I actually create my own character designs. I create my own outfits based on the characters so that it looks as real as if it just walked off a set. But I'm gonna need some help doing it. So if anyone wants to help partner with me on that and just help me out with a hobby, you definitely can. And I will give you shout outs, and like I'd probably cry, to be honest. Anyway, okay. Yep.
That's fantastic. I just love it. You're so positive. Everything's going in the right direction. You got great ideas, and you know,
I do a little bit of everything. It's fine.
Yeah, and also grounded in wanting to bring some light to dark places and offer people, like you said, a circle of support, which is awesome. We all need a circle of support.
Yes, we do. We do.
I'm gonna answer a comment real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
So, Bobby, how's life?
Yeah. What's going on?
Bobby, did you just pop on as well, or were you on earlier?
No, I've been on I popped on, I guess, 5-10 minutes ago. But I was quiet because didn't your mom ever tell you to be quiet and let the ladies talk? So
Aw, it's nice to finally meet you, Bobby.
well, it's
I'm
nice.
sorry that we ramble. We get very excited.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. I've had a rough day, so it's okay. I can use some more rambling. It's all right.
It's just something in our DNA. When we get passionate about something, and we're given a platform to talk about it. You have to kind of like stop us. So
sometimes you just have to keep going until you can't stop. So it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey Bobby, you're gonna have to take all those rose petals down off from around the Pete Rose poster and put them in a nice bath for yourself with some bath oils, man.
They say Pete get them first. I never touch them. Where Pete goes, it goes. I'm sorry.
I'm reading the comments.
Which one?
I'm curious to see if there's a way to get this going on a bigger spectrum to be another way for others to reach out when
mental health
professionally isn't available. That's a good idea.
Forum.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Self-help forum where people come together and it would be yes.
The only concern that I would have with that is that I would want some professionals to be involved to partner with it, because I've been put in a situation before where I am the therapist friend. I am not a therapist, but you get put in that position where you're constantly being fed all the negativity in an effort to help. But if you're not dealing with your own things at the same time, or if you don't have anyone you can go vent to because everyone's constantly venting to you, it can definitely skew your perception of what's happening, and it can bring someone down very quickly. So you just want to be a little careful of that. But that is a good idea.
You can do a weekly Zoom, to get more of the awareness out. I mean, and
that's
weekly
a
Zoom,
great idea.
You'll grow more followers, and each follower who has a story, it'll grow into something bigger and bigger until next thing you know, you have a greater platform just by doing it. So
I will definitely look into doing that. That's a wonderful idea.
You have the idea running already. Now just execute it.
That's part of my problem. It's like I have it all in here, but where do I start?
Unjumble it. You're gonna be fine. Take it, write it down on paper. I promise you, when it comes out, just put it in order, and you got this.
Definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's new in the world of Corin Nemec?
Oh man, I took a trip back here to Houston. I'm at my ex-mother-in-law's right now, but I came over here so I could do the live stream, and I'll probably go say hi to my son again after we wrap this up and hang out with him. I've been with him most of the afternoon. He's doing Antigone in his theater class right now in school. So awesome. He was at rehearsals all day for that, but I saw him this morning before rehearsals, and probably go hang out. And then I'll hang out with him all day tomorrow and all that before I head back to the Old Miss and and dive back into everything we got going on there.
Can't wait.
Awesome. I got to tell you, I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but I know none of you guys can actually watch at the beginning but the Discord channel, the Love America Tour Discord channel is up. It's being tested right now, and with any luck, we'll launch it this week.
Cool.
Oh, cool. All right.
Can't wait for that.
Yep, and I don't remember who you said was setting that up, but again, if y'all need any help, let me know. I've been using Discord for over a year now, and I'm pretty good in the settings. So if you need help, you can tweet me and let me have the link.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I've
She's actually an admin in a couple groups.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's not a. There's a lot to do in that, depending on how active your group is.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's a really important role too, because you got to make sure that people aren't acting a fool.
You don't act a fool. Everyone
yeah, the only Discord group I'm in is the graffiti collective, the art collective that I'm involved in, which is a bunch of guys all over the world and stuff. So it's a pretty hilarious Discord chat. I can tell you that.
I got to give a quick
A
shout
lot
out
of
to
making fun of
Katso.
each other. A lot of making fun of each other. That's what happens on there.
Yeah. I got to give a quick shout out to Katso. He's letting us know it's 8 o'clock, which means if anybody has to go, whenever we'd love to have you stick around, but if you have to go, you have to go.
Katso's just trying to ring the alarm and get me off, and the Katso hates seeing me on here.
Well, I think he hates it when you miss his tweets, but
I don't know if it's a he or not. I haven't really boiled down the particular gender of Katso yet. I'm not sure.
He's working on it.
Well,
is it Tina or Tim? I think it's Tina. I'm gonna go with Tina.
It's
So
Tina.
I'm still reading comments. I'm so sorry. I'm easily distracted.
Get any good
It's
ones
okay. We have
now.
it.
I could talk about Katso all night. I mean, trust me.
That was Tina again, the one who suggested having the support for the mental health community. She says also need to find a way for the professional mental health community to take an interest in this project, perhaps on a voluntary basis. I would love that. I've already talked to my own therapist, and he definitely wants to help out as well. So we just have to get it to more people which is part of the problem. That's why I'm trying to start a YouTube, but I've barely had any time, to be honest, with my job.
Before you, I mean, actually, the greatest format right now would be Zoom. Before you do a YouTube, get a lot of people out of their comfort zone, because a lot of people are afraid to even get in front of the camera. But you get Zoom for a little bit, and don't even do a whole 45 minutes or hour. Do what's comfortable for them. So even if 10 or 15 minutes, say, hey, this is all I can do. I promise you, by the next week, they're in 30 minutes, they're in 45 minutes, and they're opening up a whole lot more. So start small before you jump into YouTube. I promise you, by the time you look up, you'll have your own channel, period. I mean,
that would be amazing.
That's how it is with Celebrate Recovery. I had been a part of that ministry for 8 years, and after the large group meetings, you'd go into small group, and we always would say, you don't ever have to say anything. You don't ever have to come in here and talk. But we would always encourage them and say, however, when you open up, when you share, it's not only helping you, but you don't know who else that's going to help. And we would leave it at that. And if somebody didn't want to speak, we just passed on to the next person. And sure enough, if they kept coming, after a week or 2 or 3 or 4, and they got comfortable with the people that were there, because usually it's the same people you might have a new one every week, but it's usually the core is usually the same. We would see that they would start opening up, and it might just be a simple, I had a bad day today, or, but then once they saw that it was a safe place, a truly safe place, they would start opening up, and that's when the healing was able to start happening.
Yep. And you know what I think it's different. I tell people all the time, I talk to so many people, and because I work in the healthcare field, it takes a minute for someone to open up. But if you really talk to a person and let them gain their trust and let them feel like they can trust you, I promise you, you can change that person's life. Right? Yep. Just trust. And that's all it takes is trust. Because I'll tell anyone, you come toward a person in a hostile way, they'll back off 10 times where they'll never want to come to you. So I always tell anyone, let me love on you first. I'll give you a space to give everyone. But even for me, when I start my day with my patients, it's good morning. How did you sleep last night? How do you feel? Would you like some coffee? It's like you're opening up that door for trust. And then by the time they trust you enough, then you start asking small questions. But I promise you, before you get the answer, they're going to start coming to you.
Yep.
So it doesn't take a whole lot, but that trust is what grounds everything.
I did see you, Bonnie. I just sent you a reply to that one. Bonnie said to make a second TikTok account to have many broadcasts about this stuff. I do have a TikTok account that I made for the Cliffside Project. I just haven't posted anything yet, so I haven't really mentioned it. I'm trying to figure out where to start with posting, because I don't know if I want to do the same kind of mental health videos that I do on my personal page, which is using TikTok sounds or whatever, or if I want to just straight up talk about things, which I'm leaning more toward just talking. But until I figure that out, it's just kind of there. So I haven't really brought it up yet. But once that is up and rolling, I promise you guys will see the links on my Twitter.
All right. Can I say another thing? For
Absolutely,
me,
please.
I do a. I heard that. For me, I do a lot of I do videos or I speak a lot and talk to people. But it's not about what I say. Oh, okay, yes, it is. It's not about how I do it. It's when I do it. Timing is everything. It's like don't do a video and then put it out at 1 a.m. because no one sees it. So you treat it like traffic. When's everybody going home from work? When's everybody sitting at home with the family? You'll get more response from people around those times, and I promise you, you'll gain more perspective of people that way. Now you put out 8 o'clock in the morning, they're gonna look like, get this off my screen at 8 in the morning. So again, you put it out on time, treat it just like traffic. Know when everyone's on. And you know everybody's on around rush hour time, getting home, whether you're on a train, whether you're in traffic, whether you're at the airport. Just know time, and I promise you, you'll get your message across so much faster that way.
Yeah. And the other thing is probably like around lunchtime is usually when I try and post things. If I really want people to see it, if it's one of my like cosplay videos and I don't necessarily care how many people see it, then I'll just post it whenever I want. But if there's like a video that I'm like, no, this one has to get seen by as many people as possible, then I'll usually time it. Most of my audience so far is on around either 7 to 9 because they're starting before school, because I do have a lot of like high schoolers and stuff that follow me, or it's like closer to night where it's a lot of adults, and I'll post around like 8, 9 o'clock and they'll usually see it pretty fast. But sometimes I post at lunchtime.
Well, also keep in mind, like I have what I call the Philadelphia time and the LA time. So I do a window of a gap too, because I'm like, all right, it might be a 3-hour difference over here. So I'll post I'll post in LA time, then I'll go back and post it in Philly time, or vice versa. And then someone said, I just saw your video, man, it was great. And 30 of his friends may have seen it. And then when I post it again, I'll have 175 off of somebody because of that time frame. So again, you want your message apart to gain where you want it to be, just timing.
Yeah, definitely. That's some really good advice. Thank you so much.
I want to mention right quick that as soon as I can get Rachel Cooper to send me her Twitter, if you would just put it in the chat, Rachel. For a long time, we've called this particular part of the segment the after party. I'm changing the after party to the Zoom call that's been happening after these live streams where all of the fans get together in Zoom and just party.
Oh, ballistic, yeah.
I like AfterParty. I think it works great.
I think it's cool. I just like people. I like seeing people come together on all kinds of different things and really get to smile with each other. It reminds me that not everything is so bad. 2020 is pretty rough, but it's okay.
And that sounds like a perfect way to do the karaoke Zoom. I've got the karaoke app on my TV.
Yeah,
do it during an after party.
I got mine. It doesn't work.
See, this all started because I don't know how long ago it was, but I was watching one of the live streams and Bobby was on, and somebody mentioned that Bobby loves to do karaoke and he sang a little bit for us. So it started a storm with me and Sam and Bonnie.
How did I miss that?
I don't remember how many other people were talking about karaoke, and we were like, we got to do a Zoom. And then I had the idea of starting a Love America Tour choir, which we still are going to do. I was serious about that.
I'm in. Count me in. I'm more than welcome to do it.
Yeah, you guys don't want to hear anything.
Someone loves your
accent. Thank you, Tina.
What accent is it?
It's 100% original. I don't
know. We've lived so many places at this point, we don't even know.
Okay,
ourselves.
I'll tell you. My first gifting is a psalmist. I'm a psalmist. I'm a worshiper. And so because of that, I end up, without realizing it, I end up taking on the accent of wherever I'm living. And it's usually within like a month or so. And then there'll be a little bit of whatever me is mixed in there. So this isn't quite Southern, but it's not quite Cajun either. It's just me. But thank you. Nobody's ever told me that before.
Nice.
So how do we get into this after party? Because I saw someone say to tweet somebody for information, but I can't tweet anyone at the moment. So
Rachel again, 34. It's Rachel Cooper on Twitter. She has the information and she can just DM it to you. I assume you guys are already connected.
And I promise you, the after party is long. It's never 30 minutes. It's never an hour. It's like 3 hours.
Hey, I don't
I'm
mind
gonna
if
jump in
it's
there
gonna be
sometime,
people and it's gonna be fun. Let's do it.
Listen. You
Also, I want to hear
missed
you sing now.
that.
You can't just say that you sang something and then expect me not to ask.
You know what? I do a lot of different songs. I do have a big genre of music, whether it's gospel, whether it's R&B, whether it's even country. I have a whole big genre of stuff. And when I do sing, and I sing Frank Sinatra. So when I do sing, it's something that I gotta be wanting to do. I guess I'm wanting to do it now. So because I guess I'm gonna have to wind up giving you a little maybe some gospel.
Well, we're singers too, so we kind of sing
I can tell,
everything.
Already, yes, I can see it. It's all glowing all over you.
What is your favorite personal genre to sing that you think you're the best at?
I don't think there's a personal because I can sing. I sing everything. If I'm in the mood for Frank Sinatra, it's
Ooh, yes. Blue
listen,
eyes.
I'm 50% Jewish. Don't even ask how that happens, but it does. When I start off anything, it's 2:45. There's no one in the place except you. So set 'em up, Joe. I got a little story I think you should know. We're drinking, my friend, to the end of a brief episode. So make it one for my baby and one more for the road. So that's like my mom's favorite song.
That was wonderful.
Listen,
I love your tone.
Grew up in a Jewish family, and I swear it's like the mixed up moments ever. Whenever my mom would play Mahjong, it was like when her girlfriends would lose, my mom said, "That's the song you sing when you're about to lose," and they would literally walk out the door because I'm singing this song. And for years, I'm like, "Is my singing that bad?" My mom said, "No, we lost."
They're sore losers, but it was timed right when you were singing.
Exactly, yeah. Every time. And I would say to my mom, "Can I at least get 50 cents? Can I at least get $5? Can I get something?" I said, "You're killing me." And then my mom, I remember I went to divorce parties, and I was singing at divorce parties. And oh my God, they're the worst because they have like a whole list of mad songs that should not be out, and they are. And you get songs. I have a list of babyface songs, and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable singing this. O'Brien McKnight had a song, Shoulda, Woulda, Coulda. I don't want to sing that song. I think I got an extra $50, $60 just to sing it because the girlfriend hated her husband so much. She said all he had to do was do what I asked. She said, and shoulda, woulda, coulda is all I heard from him. So it's like I would sing anything that somebody would give me, and I would learn it, and it'll be it. But I started my singing career in Philly at Warm Daddies, and I met Jill Scott. We started singing, and it just kept going on and on. So I love it.
That's amazing. I love it, man.
But see, that's the whole thing. Jill said to me, she says, "Don't let singing be your only thing. Do something else." She said, "Go be an actor," and I did, and it just kept propelling me.
I got to tell you, there's been a lot of comments in the chat back and forth, and Constance, who has, like I said, KZ likes to translate for me, just said, he basically called you Neon Hat.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Yeah.
His glow in the dark hat.
It's my buddy's knife shop. He made me that great knife. When we went and interviewed, he's my buddy now, JB and Son Knives. He made me that amazing knife out of the cable and all that. And
yeah, that was awesome.
It's just become my go-to hat for some reason.
Someone wants us to have a singing contest. I see. I don't know if I could compete with Bobby. He was pretty good. It's pretty good.
But on the singing contest note, I've been missing a couple of calls from my son, so I'm gonna jump off and give him a shout back and see if we're gonna go see they're doing a re-release of Empire Strikes Back tonight at 9 o'clock.
Ooh.
Ooh, don't miss that.
Don't
Yeah,
you dare.
I'm thinking he might have finally caved in and decided that we should go see that, because that's what I've been trying to
Now,
get him to do.
Corin, let me just say one thing. When you start seeing parts in the movie that you say, I remember when I watched this as a kid, don't do it, because he's gonna totally tell you about yourself. He's like, Dad, look how old you are. Why are you even talking to me like that? My son does that to me. So don't let your kid do it to you.
Oh no, it doesn't matter. He's gonna do it to me anyway.
Well, you go have fun, Corin. It was good to see you.
I love y'all.
All right, buddy.
I'll see y'all soon, and I'll definitely do the after party sometime for sure.
Make sure you do.
And Bobby, I'll holler at you about other stuff on Monday or Tuesday.
All right, make sure you do.
All right, my man. Husky, love you,
All right,
buddy.
buddy. You got it, buddy.
Peace, guys.
I just remember, now Husky, when we had the after party last time, I swore you would come back because we was there for 3 hours, easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. I gotta tell you, everybody ran out of alcohol just drinking that night. I wish they had more. That's how long it kept going on. But it was that good. I think when I got off, my battery was at 5%, and I started at 100.
Yeah, I can't stay on that late, just with the way my health is and the way the meds are. I will jump on there while I'm uploading the source files and stuff for Ben and such, but that basically is just 20 or 30 minutes, and then I gotta hop off and hit the hay. It's honestly, and I apologize, this isn't gonna last forever, guys. I'm already weaning off of it, so hopefully by Wednesday I'll be back to 100%, but I'm just not right now, and so I gotta take it easy.
Listen, you'll be fine. Just get your health in order, buddy, because like I said, we need you. You got a good thing going right now with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. We can't lose one of our best guys.
Exactly. Where's the love after that? In bed, sick. Can't have that.
Well, yeah, like I said, I've just been resting up, and a lot of people have been telling me, it's like, look, we get it, and so what I'm trying to do is just kind of hang on and ride it through until I can get out the other side of this medication. So that's kind of where we're at. We got another 12 minutes to fill until the after party actually kind of starts kicking off in Zoom. So I don't know. I want to really give LeAnna had a piece of very exciting information that happened. She got to meet somebody special, and I'm gonna go ahead and let her tell you about that.
So last weekend I attended the first annual American. Well, not annual, because they're actually going to be doing them all over the country now, but the very first American Christian Film Festival by this Christian film company called JC Films. They are, I don't consider them small anymore, but they are very community-based. They make a lot of great faith-based films. Most of them are true stories. And Dean Cain is in a lot of their movies. And I've been a long time Dean Cain fan. And so he was going to be at the festival. And so me and a group of the DC Super Gals, which is a fan group that I founded, there was a few of us that got to go to the festival. And one of the things was we did get to finally meet him. And I've been waiting a long time. 2 Comic-Cons got canceled, but I'm so glad they did, because if they hadn't have been canceled, I wouldn't have gotten to meet him in that type of a setting. And so I finally got my hug and my picture, and it was pretty exciting. And me and the girls, we had a lot of fun at the festival, and we helped out a lot at the festival, and which included the dinner that he was speaking at that night. And so we had some really cool moments there. There was our little 5. We're now affectionately called the JC Films Girls as well. So
Nice.
yeah, but it was just so many different moments. Of course, one of the highlights was getting to finally meet Dean. And let me just tell you that a lot of celebrities will put on a certain affront to to the fans, and then if you happen to catch them when they don't think fans are around, you see a totally different side. That's not Dean. What you see on film, what you see on interviews, that is really who he is. He is
Mhm.
genuine. He is warm. He is friendly, generous. He's just all of that and more. So yeah,
I
it
can
was
agree.
pretty cool. And they're doing their next one in April in Orlando, and fingers crossed and praying that I can attend it with my girls, because that happens to be right smack dab in the middle of LEAP testing, and I teach 3rd grade, which is the first year that they do the state testing. And so my principal's like, you ain't going anywhere if that's the week that we're testing. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, look at the calendar now.
Well, she can't find the testing calendar for what day we're actually testing. If we're not testing that day, then she's probably gonna let me go. But the really cool thing is that we wound up getting to be extras in the new movie that they're filming called Break Every Chain. It's based off of a novel. It's a true story of a police officer named Jonathan Hickory, and he wrote a book called Break Every Chain, which is his life, and it was his journey of just what he went through in his life and how he eventually, found his faith and how that turned his life around. And he went through some pretty harrowing stuff. We got to hear, he was there, and we got to hear his testimony firsthand. And so they're currently filming, and Dean is in that movie, and we got to be extras in
Very nice. Very
two
nice.
of the scenes. And one of my girls that came with me, they needed a car for the wedding scene, and she happened to have the oldest car out of the people that drove, and so her car is actually the one that was used for the scene. So we're pretty excited to see the movie come out, not just because it's an amazing story, but we're in the movie, so but definitely check it out. Check his story out too. Jonathan Hickory, Break Every Chain. Everybody needs to hear his story, especially if you know law enforcement, if you have friends that are in law enforcement, because he talks about that. Just like Lacie talked about there being a stigma in the church with mental health, there's a stigma in law enforcement with mental health as well. And
yeah, definitely.
He was suicidal and everything. Like, he really talks about it. And now God opened so many doors for him. He's still a police officer to this day, and God opened so many doors for him to minister to other law enforcement. So it's called Break Every Chain. You can find it on Amazon, his book. There's even an audio version of it. So but yeah, it was an amazing weekend, and I've got my picture. Actually, I could show y'all. I've got my picture. I don't know if the light's showing
wore
it.
mask. Good job, y'all wore masks.
Well, yeah, they changed the COVID stuff right before we went, and so we were trying to be respectful. We did get like a couple other photos, but yes, it was exciting.
Good job. And let me just say this, when it comes down to a lot of actors, I've met so many people in the business. I met so many people filming and stuff like that. And then let's say out of the 100, I'd say about maybe 40% is true to who they are. And then everyone else is so Hollywood that they forget who they are. And that's one of the reasons why I'm an open book when it comes to the fans. I am an open book when it comes to people. I'll tell anyone. I'll tell about my life story. I have no problem. I said, because I'd rather do it before TMZ get it. But I never have a problem. If anyone asks me, I always open my heart, my door. I'll say, text me in the middle of the night, whatever, because I want to be able to help. And it's amazing because people are people. Don't let a title define you to be who you are. Don't let amount of money change you and say you're too good to walk down the street and get a Pepsi. Don't let that happen. Just be you.
Right.
Just be you is a huge piece of advice too, because you find out that trying to be somebody else so that folks will like you is exhausting, because you have to keep it up. And if you will just be you, which is one of the most scariest things when you first do it, because who's gonna like me, the real me? They'll show up. There's people out there that will like the real you, and if you will just be the real you, they'll show up. And then you don't have to put that act, and gives you so much more energy.
Yeah, I remember when I first started on TikTok, actually, going back to that real quick, I wanted to be the thing I thought that everyone wanted me to be. And it was already exhausting enough. And I was like, oh, I can't talk about mental health on here. I can't talk about the things I'm really excited about on here. I have to follow the trends. I have to do this and do that. And now I'm just at a point where like, look, I am random as heck. And if you 11,000 people want to be along for the ride, then come on. But like, other than that, good luck. Because I jump around. I do all kinds of stuff. The only characters that I do more than once really are my own. So yeah, I mean, 11,000 people, that's a lot of people along for the ride, but as long as they want to be there, it's cool, you know?
Yeah.
But now I feel a lot more confident in what I'm doing because I'm doing what I want to do instead of what I feel like I have to do. It means a lot to me because I'm getting to really like connect with people in a way that is completely my own. But yeah, it's definitely important. Happy.
It's hard for some people. People tend to lose themselves in the character that they play. They lose themselves in an amount of money or what someone else say about them. And then they forget that when you do have a person that come up there and want to get advice, you're so not the person you was. You're always like, well, if you want this advice, it's going to cost you, or I don't know what you're talking about. I can't give it to you. But then you have to look back at yourself. Look at your heart. Look at before you were there. You didn't have that. Someone else had to mentor you. And that was the thing that I always tell people. I said, never, ever, ever get so wrapped up in that one moment that you can't get out of it.
Yeah, I actually I'm gonna send Husky a link. He asked for a video if I wanted to show it in the background. This one is a video series that a bunch of people were doing on TikTok, and it starts out with the song Barbie Girl. And basically you're supposed to put on different makeup and stuff to try and become like what everyone wants. And then you have a moment where you try and change yourself. And there is some special effects makeup in there, just pre-warning. If you don't like the sight of fake bruises, you may not want to watch, because in the middle, there's one clip where it like looks like my face is all beat up. But then at the end of it, there's a really cool twist. And the reason I do videos like that is, first of all, because it's still a type of cosplay, but second of all, because it's really important not only for the message I want to give to people who are watching my videos, but also for my own sake to remind myself like, hey, I'm allowed to be my own person. I'm allowed to be exactly who I was created to be, because whether people like me or not, that's not going to change who I am. All I have to worry about is how I'm treating the people around me in the process. Yeah. So if you want to play that video, you can. If not, it's fine too. It's only like a minute.
I can add the link to the video in the chat, but because I didn't have it, I have to get it and then put it in to play it. So I can't play it for the live stream, but I can put the link in the chat real quick. I'm putting a couple of things in the chat.
So if you click on the link and you don't have the TikTok app, it's just going to open it in your browser. So you should still be able to watch it. And then y'all let me know what you think. If you watch it and you like it or whatever, you can tweet me, let me know what you think about it, stuff like that.
Super secret party.
Super secret.
It's not that secret.
It's not a secret at all, I promise you. But it's almost as if who hangs in there first or who hangs up first.
My bad.
It's like, that's one.
My bad.
I love that you did that. I love how TikTok has good messages. Yes. Now, not
always.
Yeah, I will say that just like any other social media, not all of TikTok is the best place. But the best thing that I can do is not add to that part. I can definitely continue to add to the positive side of it and let people come and find a safe space on my page, and that's what I want. But I don't, I actually ran into a problem with some other people on the app because me creating a safe place did not involve me conforming to what they wanted me to. And it created a bit of a problem, but we're good now. Everything is blown over. So you just, I mean, you have to be kind of careful sometimes online with the things that you believe. But a lot of Christians in particular will miss the fact that you don't have to compromise on what you believe in order to be able to talk to people. So I have a group of friends and not everyone believes the same thing I do, but that's okay because I'm not trying to force them into what I believe and they're not trying to force me. We have conversations about it, but that's it. So it's definitely interesting. And when I was a kid, I went between wanting to be famous and not wanting to be famous because anxiety exists. And I'm like, that's too much pressure. I don't want to be famous. And now I'm mildly known and I'm just like, okay, this is happening. Cool. But
I can
it's
identify.
good. I'm really enjoying it.
Well, good. That's good that you are able to enjoy it.
And I'm not trying to get out of the frame. I just my tailbone, I still can't put pressure on it, and so I'm having to readjust.
Well, for what it's worth,
she got hurt a little bit ago.
I slipped on my stairs on Thursday. I slipped and landed hard, and I already have back injuries from a car accident, so it was not good. I've either broken it or severely bruised it.
You need a donut.
Actually, my physical therapist said not to use the donut.
Really?
He told me to go get an egg crate pillow, and I can't find one.
Okay.
Okay.
Just real quick, want to let you guys know it's 8:30, so we kind of are going over just a little bit, but I would invite anybody that wants to take a look into that super secret after party Zoom info, and you guys can meet everybody over there. I think Lacey's going to be there. Bobby, are you going to be there?
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, I'm going over.
Okay.
I need to go charge my phone though, so we'll probably be on different screens.
Yeah, I'll be there in about for about 20 minutes, and then I'll be hopping off. But
that
there's
is
a lot
true. That is true, Kay Howell. I know that people need to know my name, but I also know that I am not perfect, and so sometimes I know that when people get famous, people expect them to be perfect, and so there's a little bit of anxiety there. But I've been handling it pretty well so far. All right, I'm gonna stop now so Husky can close out.
All right. If you are not following KZ Howell, Lacie, get with me and get it so that I can put the two of you together. He is a published author, sure. And yeah, he's the real deal, and right. So he might be able to help. And
that sounds wonderful. I will take all the help I can get. Me too.
Yeah. So
and
with that said,
I'll help mentor you as much as you need.
Yeah.
Yes. Am I following? I need to go follow you too now. Hey, everyone, drop your just tweet me yourself, I guess, so I can follow you guys and go check everybody out.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you put your Twitter handle in there?
It was a while ago. I'll do it again.
Yeah, do your Twitter handle. That being said, guys, we got to go ahead and close this out because there's some interesting things called transcoding hours that I have to keep track of. So we're going to call the episode 15 done. We'll see you on the 30th for episode 16, and then we will see you guys, anybody that's going to be in the after party, we'll see you there shortly. All right?
All right.
Night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you so much.
I'll see you next door.
Yes.